What I feel is that if you work really hard, if you treat people really well, and getting a good reputation is something that's really important to you, you'll find deals. Like, you can compete. Like, there are people in this area that are selling homes. It's just, how do you get them to sell to you? Well, you figure it out. You work on figuring out whatever that need is that they need met, or whatever it is. You just keep working at it, and eventually you start finding little niches.
Thank you so much again. I apologize that communications got kind of mixed up before.
That's okay.
But I'm so excited to hear about your story and get to know you better. Where are you located?
So I'm in Middle Tennessee. More specifically, I live in Franklin, but we look for houses all over Middle Tennessee.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. How long have you been in real estate investing?
I would say 2021 is when I'm really digging in my heels. In 2014, we briefly moved to Charleston and bought a property, or just bought a home. And then some stuff changed with my job, like after 7 months, that we weren't anticipating. So we moved back to Nashville, and I was like, well, we either sell the house or we could hold on to it as a rental. And so we held on to it as a rental for a couple years. And, I was a landlord for, I guess, 2 years, and it went up a lot in value. And that's actually what allowed us we sold that, and that allowed us, or helped give us, the money we needed to start a pharmacy. And that was back in 2017.
Oh my gosh. Why? So you're an entrepreneur, obviously. So what kind of led you back into like real estate investing then?
It's interesting. I didn't know what kind of questions you'd ask me, so I'm kind of playing through all this.
You're good.
Back in 2017, I'm just telling you my thought process. I was a pharmacist at Walmart, and I did not like my job or career at that point. And I knew I wanted to get out, and I had some money saved. And my thoughts were, okay, I can either quit my job and go full-time to real estate, or I can quit my job and like start a pharmacy. And I knew more about pharmacy than I did real estate. Seemed scarier to me. And so, and things were really high back then, and nobody knows where the top is. So I was like, well, what if I just I build a business, and then I use the cash flow from that business, and maybe real estate will have cooled off at that point. It didn't work out that way. Things just kept going up. But we owned a pharmacy for about 3 years, and there were multiple reasons we decided to get out of the pharmacy industry. So now we're focusing only on natural health. And so we're doing that. I've got a lot more time, and we have a little bit of capital to, to put into doing real estate deals and things like that. So that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing now. And I would say we started back in, so we had our third child in October. And when I took some time off for that, I started getting the ball rolling with like DealMachine and like building a list. And then I put it down after he was born. And then I picked it back up in 2021 after we sold the pharmacy off.
Well, congratulations on your third child. That's so exciting.
Thanks. Yeah.
We may have to get him a little onesie.
Yeah.
Have like, I'm such a big deal, or I'm kind of a big deal.
Kind of a deal machine.
There you go. That's so amazing. Like how you just kind of went through all of that, being a landlord. Are you looking, so when you dive back into real estate investing, now that you are you looking to do like landlord type, buy and hold again, or are you looking to wholesale?
Yeah. So kind of my, I guess my strategy, if you will, as of today, and it always is changing. I go into stuff most of the time trying to keep it or flip it. And then for me, wholesaling is an option, but it's not necessarily my bread and butter per se. And I'm not going to pretend to know all the nuances of wholesaling. And I know that it's changing in different states, and there's some states trying to get you to like have a license to do it, or this or that, or like a realtor license. But the way it's been explained to me is if like you don't have anything to worry about with anything legal or ethical, if you have some intent, if there's always some intent to buy the property. And so I go into everything with the intent, like, hey, how can I make this work? And if I can't, then sure, I would wholesale it. And so I truthfully, I haven't even done my first wholesale yet. I've been, as I think you guys know, somebody wanted me to wholesale a property that I got to them, but I decided to keep it. But I might do good old fashioned just contract assignment, or I might do double closing. And so to me, double closing, again, I'm new at all this, but double closing, it seems like it's a little bit more expensive, but it's also, everything seems just like there's less room for error and a lot higher likelihood that things will close and move forward.
Yeah, I know a lot of people who only double close. So, but some people are like, no, I'm not messing around with it because it is like a little bit more expensive,
Yeah.
but I think it just is what you're comfortable with.
Yeah.
So I'd love to hear more about your deal.
Sure.
So
Sure.
Go ahead, talk to me, start to finish, of like,
Okay.
how'd you get in touch with them and all that good stuff?
So, all right. So back in the fall, when I had time off, I started just like consuming DealMachine YouTube videos. And yeah, I mean, I watched a ton of your testimony videos, and like, there's power in testimony. When you hear other people doing it, seemingly average Joes and average Janes just doing it, it gives you strength to go out and do it yourself. And so it gave me a lot of strength and courage to go out and start doing it myself. So I started watching a lot of videos. And then when we were running the pharmacy, I had a girl that worked here that was looking for extra hours. So when she would get done here at like 1 o'clock, in the afternoon, then she would go drive for me for a few hours, several times a week. And so she, and it's not like she had any experiences. I was like, hey, just look for dilapidated properties. Sorry, let me go get the door for me.
Go ahead.
So I just told her, I was like, just look for any signs of like, it's a little bit run down, high grass, stuff piled up on the front porch, house looks like it's fallen in, blankets over the windows, just anything that makes it look like there's some form of stress. And so she built a list of about maybe 700 properties approximately.
Oh.
And because, I've watched your videos and I've heard you guys say 300, you need at least 300 properties, and then, put it on a repeat, every 3 weeks and do it for 8 times, and, should get a deal. And so anyway, I think I sent mailers out once back in the fall. And then when I went off of paternity leave, kind of went back to work, I kind of dropped it, and I had so much work to do when it came to closing the store and selling part of it off. So I kind of put it down, and then I picked it back up at the very beginning of the year. And I was like, I'm going to do this until I get one deal. Like, I was like, I've spent the money, I've spent the time, like, I'm not going to put this down until I get one. And so I just put them on repeat and didn't think about it. And then I got the call, and, and I'm learning so much about what the different motivations people have to reach out to somebody who sends them a mailer. In this particular case, it was a lady and her mom. Her mom owned like half a dozen properties in this particular area. And this one just happened to go vacant, and, it needed quite a bit of work, but they didn't, because of COVID, they just didn't want to deal with a bunch of people in and out of their house. They're like, we just want to deal with one person, and we just want to get it done. And I hadn't even thought of that, before, but so that's why they decided to work with me. And, I made them an offer on the home, and again, I'm trying to learn, how to do the appropriate ARV and repair costs and all the things. And so made them an offer, and then I went out, I made them a soft offer over the phone, went out there and looked at it. And I think we ended up dropping it maybe like $5,000 from what I originally, because it had some foundation things that we needed to work on. And, but my thing is, and again, I might, I'm sure I'll tweak this strategy as we go, but I like to tell people like, hey, what you get with me is like, it's gonna be that to the penny. So like for this particular property, said I'd give you $80,000 for it. And I was like, you'll get that to the penny. You're not gonna pay, I'm gonna pay all the closing costs. I'm gonna pay unpaid taxes, unless we're talking about, thousands and thousands of dollars unpaid taxes. I was like, I'm gonna pay all that. So like, you'll have a check for $80,000 to the penny. And and I thought I put all that in the contract. And when we went to title, things would come be like, well, now they owe this. I'd be like, no, wait. I told them I'd give them $80,000 to the penny. So whatever else comes up, make sure that falls on my tab. And so, so anyways, yeah, they got a check for 80,000. I think they were very happy. And they've got other deals. And like I sent them a thank you card with like a Chick-fil-A gift card in it, just to say thank you for, doing business with me, because they have other properties. And my hope is that they'll sell some other property to me when they go vacant.
Genius. That's so genius. I mean, a thank you card with a gift card in it, like, and like you said, she has a half a dozen properties. Like,
yeah,
she may not want to deal with them all the time. So, what's your? Have you already started like process like flipping it?
Yeah, so we're gonna BRRRR it is my hope. I found a hard money lender that on this particular one we had so much equity. He didn't even make me put anything down. Like, I mean, I had my earnest money, but he put up basically all the cost and all the rehab costs. And but the caveat is I did have to do 3 points origination as opposed to like 2 or even 1, but it was 3 points origination, but no down payment. And then he's got a product, and I haven't gone through it yet, but I have no reason to think it won't work. But he's got a product that he'll allow me to refinance it as soon as it's done and rented. I can refinance it into a 30-year note with him almost immediately.
That is amazing. Congratulations. That's so exciting.
Yeah, it was a good find for sure.
And you dove in and you did it. You got the one deal. So from here, like, since you sold, you're now focused on the health, you're still having your store.
Yeah.
So how do you, for people, I meet a lot of people who have like either another job or something like that. One of the questions I like to ask is like, how do you balance that now?
That's a great question. And I can't say that, I was going to say, I can't say that I do it well, but like, even just this morning, like trying to learn how to work from rest. So like I work really hard, but I can tell when I'm starting to like scurry and just get agitated and all those sorts of things. So like, I'm trying to learn how to like consistently work hard, but work from a place of rest so that I don't burn out. But I don't, going back to your question, how do I juggle it all? I don't know. I guess for me, I enjoy what I'm doing, so it doesn't necessarily feel like a lot, work all the time. Although I will say, like, I'm trying to be better about when I'm home with my family and my kids, like not having my phone on me so that like I can turn it off and like mentally focus on them.
Yeah.
But no, I wouldn't say I have like any secret to like juggling it all other than, well, I will say this, I as I've gotten into this, I keep learning more and like finding new ways to get deals and all these things. And I'm like, well, I want to do this. And I'm like, I need to slow down because I've got one in Nashville that I bought from another wholesaler that we just closed on and we're trying to flip. I've got this one in Columbia, and then I've got another one in a place called Hendersonville, but these are all Middle Tennessee that I'm trying to like basically just buy and then put it back on the market in this situation. But so I'm like having to tell myself to slow down so that I don't want to be doing too many things at once. And
well, congrats on all the handful of deals that you just like got. That's so exciting to like, you really started off 2021 and just went all in and it's paying off, man. I love it.
Thanks.
So does the driver you had before that added those properties, is she still driving for you or are you doing all the driving?
No, so we had a bunch of changes when we sold the pharmacy side of the business off, and she loves, she actually worked for me and another place. It was the other place she worked was a coffee shop, and they kind of run their coffee shop like a ministry, and she really loved that. And they offered her a full-time position there. So she ended up going and working for them. So she doesn't work for me anymore.
So you are the main driver then?
So to be honest, I'm still working on, I'm letting these leads, like I'm trying to get to the end of that 8 cycle.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to reassess like with a driver or something like that. So I'm going to send out the mailers 8 times, look at the fruit that is, yielded from that, and then go from there.
How do you know what, around what postcard time that they called you off of?
Probably like the second. Where it gets blurry for me is I did some in the fall, but I can't remember because and I've got like that was my driving list, my driving for dollars list. But I also have other lists that I've done, like, you know, people just have high equity or things like that that you can find on DealMachine. You just go through and build a list. I think I sent maybe one to the driving for dollars folks in the fall, but then I started back again again in 2021. So I want to say it was maybe like the second one. And so
Yeah,
I've had
a really good rate then, like the fact that they called you off of the second one, because usually it takes a little bit.
Yeah. And then one thing that I found in my area, so we started off by sending pictures of the homes because I know that's a, you know, feature you guys have. Again, just in our area, I got some feedback from folks and they didn't like that their picture was on there. So I changed that. I made all my mailers uniform. They all look the exact same. It's just on one side, it's a picture of somebody you know, they've got a little house in their hand and another person's handing them cash for their house. So it's like a visual representation of like what's happening. And then the other side, it's got a picture of me and my wife. And what I've found, at least for the first deal I did, that first one, when I asked the lady, I was like, hey, why did you, because she said she gets mailers all the time. And I said, why did you call us as opposed to all the other ones? And she said, well, I saw your picture and she's like, you just look like a nice guy. So I decided to give you a call. And so I think there is something to be said about, you know, just putting a nice professional picture of yourself on there so that they know, like, you know, I'm not dealing with some large company or, I don't know. I think there's just something about seeing the person you're about to call that helps people bridge the gap.
No, I think that's genius. You put a picture of you and your wife too, because it also shows that you're like a family-owned business too. So that was gonna be one of my questions, is if she said like why she called you.
Yeah.
That's so great. And I love that you put that picture on there. That's one of my favorite features now too, where you don't have to put the house picture. You can do whatever you want with it. I had another freaking question. I always like come up with them while I'm like here talking. I don't even remember what it was. Oh, I was gonna say, it was more of a statement. This is just for anyone who's watching this, but like you're in a pretty competitive market. Like and you just talked about like I think 4 or 5 deals that you have on deck on this. So like I think your story is amazing, and I congratulate you on the fact that you're grinding it out there with another business. And I've just heard so many people who I was just listening to something where they're like, I'm not going to go to Nashville because it's too competitive. I can't And it's like, well, even though it's competitive, like you see that as more like I haven't heard that once out of your mouth. So
yeah. And it is, well, I say I've lived here for so long, I guess I don't think about it, but I guess one thing I've learned so we started a pharmacy back in 2017. It's like nobody starts pharmacies anymore because they're so competitive. You got a Walgreens and CVS on every block. And one thing that I learned is that no matter how fierce the competition, like not with every industry, but with most industries, you can, if you provide really good customer service and you find niches, you can find a way to make it. And so I think it gave me a certain element of boldness with having done that prior to this, that I guess I don't fear competition as much, because I think what I feel is that if you work really hard, if you treat people really well, and getting a good reputation is something that's really important to you, you'll find deals. Like, you know, you can compete. Like there are people in this area that are selling homes. It's just, how do you get them to sell to you? Well, you figure it out. You know, you work on figuring out whatever that need is that they need met or whatever it is. You just keep working at it, and eventually you start finding little niches.
Yeah. And before I forget this question that I just thought of, when you had your driver, she obviously must have known the area, but was there any way that you like told her like a certain area to go driving in, or like how did she
so I gave her quite a bit of autonomy in that. I mean, I told her the specific little town that I wanted her to drive in.
Okay.
but other than that, I told it, and truthfully, I just knew that this was an area I wanted to focus that I personally didn't even know that well at the time. So I told her, just pick an area and turn your thing on so it tracks where where all you're going, where you've been. And she just started doing that. And again, looking for houses that looked like they needed a little bit of work. And then sometimes she would pick houses that I would be curious, like, why did you put that on the list? Doesn't look that bad. But one thing that I'm finding out, and again, I'm learning a lot about this industry, is that house might look fine on the outside, but they might be people that start projects all the time. Like, and they'll get halfway through it and they don't finish it. And you never know that by the outside. And so how to find those, I don't really know, other than you just cast a lot of seed and you just hope that hope those folks call you.
Yeah, that's really awesome. That 700 properties from a driver is like amazing. So that's why my jaw kind of dropped. And did you pay her? How did you compensate her?
I can't remember how much an hour, but it was just, by the hour. And then I paid mileage too. So, sorry, let me move locations here.
That's totally fine. I want to be mindful of your time too.
No, I'm good. Once I move locations, I'll be ready to rock and roll.
How old are your kids, if you don't mind me asking?
No, it's not at all. 4, 2, and new is what I like to say.
I love it.
Let me change my Wi-Fi here, so I don't want to lose you when
Your space looks so cool.
Oh, this is formerly Franklin Family Pharmacy. We're converting it to Live Well Franklin. It's going to be a tea shop / coffee shop. We're going to do we're all like natural health products, and we're launching a web. It's not live yet, but a little shameless plug for our business. We're going to be Live Well Franklin, and people can go to livewellfranklin.com and like get any of their natural health needs and things of that nature. So yeah.
I'm gonna have to. The company I used to work for is based out of Franklin, and so we visited there quite a bit. And I have friends live there, so I'll definitely give them a plug to say, hey,
thank you.
You gotta go check this place out.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You guys have such a have you ever watched? This is just very, like I said, this is very casual, and this doesn't have to be in the interview. Ty, who's ever editing this, but have you ever seen Schitt's Creek?
I've heard of it.
Okay. Well, it's a really, I know, sorry, this is probably maybe a little inappropriate, but it's a really good show, and they have a really cute shop in it, and it looks almost like yours. And I always thought, oh my gosh, if there was a shop like this in my area, I would be in it all the time. It's so cute. So you guys are doing really good with your branding.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Very much appreciate that. I'm very proud of our store, and what I tell folks, like, my vision for the store is that it'd be a watering hole. Like, I just love the idea of people coming here, meeting, hanging out, and just enjoying life with one another. That's my dream. So
okay, well then I'm gonna do a shameless plug for myself, is get one in Indianapolis, so that way I have one here, and you can just call it Live Well Indy.
That's what I was gonna say. Live Well Indy. That's a great name.
I'm just saying, I have a great place down here that you could totally put it up. So when you get to that point, you let me know, because I need a watering hole. Well, I want to be able to just go out, but I need a watering hole with that. But anyways, 4, 2, and new. I'm gonna remember that forever.
He's technically 4 months old, but we still consider him new.
Yeah, he's still new. Are they all boys?
Got 2 girls and my latest was a son.
Aw. That's so great. I'm an older sister, so, well, he may be in for a little bit of teasing, but he'll be fine.
Both of them love him, but my oldest, like, she gets upset if she doesn't get any time with him in a day. Like, she just loves entertaining him and being with him. It's awesome.
Can relate to that. Sang my brother a couple of single hits from myself as a 4-year-old. Sure. So. Sure. But thank you so much for connecting with me and like doing. Yeah. If you need anything, please feel free to like email me. My phone number's on there. But I'm just really excited for you guys and your journey. Like, I'd love to, after you start going, through the BRRRR process, I'd love to hear how that all turns out when you refinance. Absolutely. And everything.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm really excited about it. I'm thankful for the videos you do, because they truly do encourage people.
Good.
Yeah, it's encouraging because you get to watch these videos and it gives you strength, and you realize, okay, if they can do it, then I can do it. And so, yeah, so whatever encouragement that is to you.
That makes me feel so good. I selfishly love these because I get to connect with our members and I get to make new friends, and that's what I love. But I was actually talking to someone, I was thinking about taking these and turning it into a podcast so that people
Yeah,
can listen to it while they're driving, and you know, because I love them, but I love to hear that other people, it helps them,
yeah,
because we all not need that little bit of motivation, I guess.
yeah, absolutely. But no,
Awesome.
they've been very encouraging. So I love the app. It's been amazing. It's very user friendly. So yeah, I love what you guys have done, and it's been great.
Well, thank you for being a part of the family. I love having great members like you, and just again, let us know if we can do anything for you. But I hope you have a great rest of your day.
It's good to talk to you.
Good to talk to you too, Todd. See you later.